Last Tuesday, I was scrolling through Reddit when I came across something that made my stomach turn. A woman named Sarah from Texas posted a photo of her hospital bracelet alongside a plate of half-eaten chicken. The caption read, 48 hours of pure hell, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, all because I trusted this chain with my dinner. The response is flooded in. Hundreds of people sharing their own horror story. Food poisoning, bugs in their food, wings that weren't even chicken. And that's when I realized something terrifying. The chicken wings you're ordering from your favorite chains might not be what they seem. In fact, some of them aren't even close to 100% chicken. Over the past month, I've dug deep into customer complaints, health department reports, lawsuits, and Reddit threads to uncover the truth about America's most popular wing chain. What I found shocked me. We're talking about restaurants serving undercooked meat that sent people to the hospital, wings infested with insects, and meat so processed that customers question if it's really chicken at all. If you've ever gotten sick after eating wings, if you've ever bitten into something that tasted off, or if you just want to protect yourself and your family from making a dangerous mistake, you need to hear this. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 8 chains to avoid, why they're dangerous, and the real stories from customers who learned the hard way. Your health is on the line. Your trust in the food industry is about to be shattered. And your next wing order could be your worst mistake. Let's start with the chain that has the most shocking track record of all. Golden Corral sits at the top of our list, and for good reason. This buffet-style restaurant has faced multiple lawsuits over undercooked chicken wings that have literally sent customers to the hospital. Picture this. You're enjoying a family dinner at what seems like a harmless buffet. The wings look golden brown and perfectly cooked under those heat. You pile several onto your plate, confident that a major chain like this knows what they're doing. But halfway through your meal, your husband notices something horrifying. The chicken wing your daughter just bit into is completely raw on the inside. Blood red, completely uncooked. That's exactly what happened to Christina Leonard and her family. What started as a pleasant family dinner turned into a nightmare that required multiple surgeries and resulted in a $240,000 lawsuit against Golden Corral. Christina's story isn't isolated. Reddit threads are filled with customers describing similar experiences at Golden Corral locations across the country. One user wrote, I took one bite and knew something was wrong. The texture was slimy and the taste was metallic. I spent the next 3 days in bed with the worst food poisoning of my life. Another customer posted photos of wings that were charred on the outside, but completely raw on the inside, asking, how does this even happen at a major restaurant chain? The problem with Golden Corral isn't just one bad location or one careless cook. It's systemic. The buffet model creates an environment where food sits under heat lamps for hours, creating the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Wings that look cooked on the outside can remain dangerously undercooked on the inside. And when you're serving hundreds of customers from the same batch of food, one mistake can affect dozens of families. But Golden Corral's wing problems are just the beginning. The next chain on our list has built an entire reputation around wings, yet somehow manages to disappoint customers in ways that will make you question everything you think you know about food safety. Buffalo Wild Wings markets itself as the ultimate destination for chicken wings. Their commercials show perfectly sauced wings and happy customers cheering for their favorite team. But behind the marketing lies a disturbing pattern of customer complaints that tells a very different. Reddit users have created entire threads dedicated to sharing their Buffalo Wild Wings horror story. One customer described their experience and the meal gave me excruciating food poisoning equipped with 2-day long vomiting, diarrhea, chills, sweating, and body aches. I've never been so sick in my life. This isn't a one-off complaint. Dozens of customers report similar experiences, with symptoms ranging from mild stomach upset to severe food poisoning requiring medical. What makes Buffalo Wild Wings particularly problematic is the inconsistency. One location might serve decent wings, while another location, just miles away, serves food that makes customers violently ill. The chain's rapid expansion and focus on atmosphere over food quality has created a perfect storm of food safety. But the problems go beyond just food poisoning. Customers regularly complain about wings that taste off, have strange textures, or seem like they've been sitting around for hours before being served. One former employee posted on Reddit, I worked at BWW for 2 years. The way we handled food would shock you. Wings would sit in warmers for hours past the safe time limit. When health inspectors weren't around, the rules went out the window. The most disturbing part? Buffalo Wild Wings knows about these complaints. They have entire teams dedicated to social media management, responding to negative reviews and promising to do better. Yet the complaints keep coming, month after month, year after year. The pattern never changes. Speaking of patterns that never change, our next chain has mastered the art of disappointing customers while somehow maintaining a global presence. You probably recognize the name, but you might not know about the international scandals that have rocked this brand's reputation world. KFC built an empire on the promise of finger-licking good chicken. But when it comes to their wings, customers are more likely to be reaching for antacid than licking their fingers. While KFC's issues in the United States typically revolve around dry, flavorless wings and inconsistent quality, their international track record tells a much more disturbing story. In India and China, KFC locations have been temporarily shut down after customers discovered live worms and maggots in their fried chicken. Photos of these incidents went viral on social media, showing customers pulling white, writhing larvae from what was supposed to be their dinner. The images are so disturbing that many people refuse to eat at KFC locations anywhere in the world after seeing them. One customer in Mumbai posted a video that garnered millions of views, showing him pulling multiple live worms from a piece of KFC. His reaction of horror and disgust resonated with viewers worldwide. The local health department immediately shut down the location, but the damage to KFC's reputation was already done. These international incidents matter because they reveal something crucial about KFC's quality control process. How does live contamination end up in cooked food at multiple locations across different? It suggests systemic problems with sourcing, preparation, and cooking procedures that extend far beyond just one bad day at one restaurant. Even in the United States, KFC wings consistently rank among the worst in customer satisfaction. They're frequently described as dry, tough, and lacking in flavor. One food blogger wrote, "KFC wings taste like they were cooked yesterday, left in a warmer overnight, and then served with a prayer that no one would notice." But if you think established chains like KFC have problems, wait until you hear about what happened with one of America's largest food suppliers. This next company recalled tens of thousands of pounds of chicken wings, and the reason why will make you think twice about where your food really comes. Tyson Foods might not be a restaurant chain that you visit, but their chicken ends up on plates across America. Grocery stores and food service distributors. When Tyson had to recall over 52,000 pounds of chicken wings due to contamination concerns, it sent shockwaves through the industry and revealed just how vulnerable our food supply really is. The recall happened because customers started calling Tyson's complaint hotline, reporting that their wings had a strange, off-putting smell. Some customers reported mild illness after eating the wings before realizing something. The USDA stepped in and confirmed that the wings were potentially adulterated and unsafe for human consumption. Think about that for a moment. Tens of thousands of pounds of chicken wings were packaged, shipped, and sold to consumers before anyone realized there was a problem. How many people ate those wings before the recall was in? How many families got sick because they trusted that the food they bought was safe? One customer from Ohio posted on Facebook, "I bought a package of Tyson wings from my local grocery store last month. When I opened them, the smell was overwhelming. They smelled like rotten eggs mixed with ammonia. I threw them away immediately, but I keep thinking about what would have happened if I hadn't noticed the smell." The Tyson recall highlights a disturbing truth about our food system. Even major suppliers with massive quality control budgets can allow contaminated food to reach consumers. It makes you wonder, if this can happen at the supplier level, what's happening at individual restaurant locations where oversight is even less rigorous? This brings us to our next chain, where the problems aren't necessarily about contamination, but about something equally concerning: the quality and preparation methods that leave customers feeling like they've been completely ripped off. Little Caesars built its reputation on cheap pizza, but their chicken wings represent everything wrong with the fast food approach to what should be carefully prepared food. Customers consistently describe Little Caesars wings as the worst they've ever tasted, and their complaints reveal a pattern of issues that go far beyond simple taste preference. The most common complaint about Little Caesars wings is that they're clearly not fresh. Customers report receiving wings that are cold, tough, and taste like they've been sitting in a heat chamber for hours. One Yelp reviewer wrote, "These wings were so bad, I actually questioned whether they were made from real chicken. The texture was like rubber, and the flavor was non-existent. But the problems go beyond just poor taste. Multiple customers have reported getting sick after eating Little Caesars wings, with symptoms ranging from stomach cramps to full-blown food poisoning. The chain's focus on speed and low prices appears to come at the expense of proper food safety. A former Little Caesars employee posted anonymously on Reddit, "We were told to keep wings in the warmer for way longer than was safe. Sometimes wings would sit there for 4 or 5 hours before being sold. When they started to look dried out, we just add more sauce to make them look fresh." The sauce strategy is particularly troubling because it masks the visual signs that food has been sitting too long. Wings that should be thrown away get covered in buffalo sauce and sold to unsuspecting customers. The result is food that not only tastes terrible, but potentially dangerous to consume. What makes Little Caesars even more problematic is their marketing strategy. They advertise their wings as hot and ready, implying freshness and quality. But the reality experienced by customers is the exact opposite. Wings are neither hot nor fresh, served by staff who seem to know the food is subpar, but serve it anyway. This disconnect between marketing and reality becomes even more pronounced when we look at our next chain, where the gap between what customers expect and what they actually receive has created some of the most frustrated customers in the restaurant industry. Papa John's has spent millions of dollars convincing customers that their ingredients are better than the competition. Their slogan, "Better Ingredients, Better Pizza," is one of the most recognizable in fast food. But when it comes to their chicken wings, customers are discovering that better marketing doesn't necessarily mean better food. The most frequent complaint about Papa John's wings is the texture. Customers consistently describe them as chewy, tough, and unpleasant to eat. One customer wrote, "I ordered wings from Papa John's 3 different times, thinking maybe I just got unlucky the first couple. But every single time, the wings had this weird, fibrous texture that made them almost impossible to chew." This texture issue isn't just about poor cooking technique. It suggests problems with the quality of the chicken itself or the processing methods used before the wings reach individual locations. When multiple customers across different locations report identical texture problems, it points to systemic issues with the supply chain or preparation protocol. But texture isn't the only problem. Customers also report that Papa John's wings often taste reheated rather freshly prepared. The wings arrive lukewarm at best, with a flavor that suggests they've been sitting around for extended periods before being sauced. One delivery driver posted on Reddit, "I've delivered thousands of Papa John's orders, and I can tell you that the wings are almost never fresh when they leave. They're usually pulled from warmers where they've been sitting for who knows how long. The drivers know it, the customers know it, but somehow the company keeps selling them." The reheating issue is particularly problematic for a delivery-focused chain like Papa John's. By the time wings travel from the warmer to the customer's door, they've often been sitting for well over an hour. The result is food that's not just poor quality, but potentially unsafe. This pattern of prioritizing convenience over quality becomes even more evident when we examine our next chain, where the focus on speed and efficiency has created a customer experience that many describe as genuinely disgusting. Wingstop markets itself as the wing expert, with a name that literally puts wings front and center. You'd expect a chain called Wingstop to have mastered the art of cooking chicken wings. Instead, customers regularly describe experiences that make them question whether the restaurant understands food at all. The most damaging complaint about Wingstop is that their wings taste like they've been boiled in grease. Multiple customers use almost identical language to describe wings that are soggy, oversaturated with oil, and completely lacking in the crispy texture that makes good wings appeal. One customer wrote, "I don't know how you can mess up chicken wings this badly, but Wingstop found a way. These wings were so greasy, I needed 3 napkins just to pick one up." But the problems go beyond just poor cooking technique. Customers regularly report receiving wings that are cold, missing sauce, or accompanied by sides that were clearly forgotten and added as an afterthought. The overall experience suggests a restaurant chain that's lost focus on the basics of food preparation and customer. One particularly telling review came from a customer who witnessed an argument between regular customers and while I was waiting for my order, this guy who was clearly a regular customer started yelling at the staff. He said, "This place used to be great. We come here every single week for years, and y'all should be ashamed of what you're serving now." The staff just shrugged like they didn't care. That interaction reveals something crucial about Wingstop's decline. Even loyal, regular customers who have supported locations for years are reaching their breaking point. When you've lost customers who are willing to overlook problems for months or years, you've lost people who really wanted to support your business. The most frustrating part about Wingstop's problems is they're entirely preventable. Cooking good chicken wings isn't rocket science. It requires attention to timing, temperature, and technique, all things that should be standard at a restaurant chain dedicated. The fact that they consistently fail at these basics suggests problems that run much deeper than just individual location issues. This brings us to our final chain, where the problems are perhaps the most disappointing of all, because they come from a restaurant that built its entire brand identity around a specific atmosphere and experience, only to let food quality slide to levels that betray everything they claim to. Hooters built its brand on the promise of good wings, served in a fun, casual atmosphere. For decades, people went to Hooters specifically for the wings, trusting that a restaurant so closely associated with this particular food would know how to prepare properly. But customer experiences over the past few years tell a very different. The most common complaint about Hooters wings is that they're consistently mediocre, not terrible enough to make you sick, but not good enough to justify the prices or the reputation. Wings arrive at tables barely warm, with sauces that taste generic and chicken that seems to have been cooked hours earlier. One food blogger wrote, "Hooters wings used to be the gold standard. I have memories of wings so good that they justified dealing with everything else about the restaurant. But my recent visits have been profoundly disappointing. The wings taste like they came from a grocery store freezer section." This decline is particularly heartbreaking for customers who have emotional connections to them. Many people have memories of celebrating sports victories at Hooters or bonding with friends over plates of wings. When those wings no longer live up to the memory, it feels like a betrayal of trust. But beyond just disappointing loyal customers, Hooters wing quality has declined to the point where many customers report feeling like they've been ripped off. The prices remain high, reflecting the restaurant's positioning as a destination rather than just another fast food. But the food quality no longer justifies those prices. A recent Yelp review captured this frustration perfectly. $15 for 6 wings that taste like they were microwaved and sauced 5 minutes ago. The server seemed embarrassed to bring them to my table. I've had better wings from gas station food warm. That comparison to gas station food is particularly damning because it highlights just how far Hooters has fallen. This is a chain that once set the standard for casual dining wings. The fact that customers now compare their food unfavorably to gas station alternatives shows the magnitude of their decline. Now, you might be thinking that these problems are just isolated incidents or that I'm being too harsh on these, but the evidence tells a different story. These aren't just one-off bad experiences or unfair complaints from. These are patterns that have persisted for years, documented by hundreds of customers, and in some cases, resulted in lawsuits and health department action. The Golden Corral lawsuit wasn't settled quietly. It resulted in a $240,000 judgment that sent a clear message about the consequences of serving undercooked. The Tyson recall affected over 52,000 pounds of chicken, meaning thousands of families were potentially exposed to contaminated food. The international KFC incidents were serious enough to shut down locations and trigger health department investigations. These aren't small problems that can be fixed with better training or new management. They're systemic issues that reveal fundamental problems with how these chains approach food safety, quality control, and customer. But here's what's really disturbing. These problems continue even though the chains know about them. Buffalo Wild Wings has entire teams dedicated to responding to negative reviews on social media. Little Caesars and Papa John's regularly see complaints about wing quality in their customer feedback system. Wingstop and Hooters have access to review sites where customers detail exactly what's wrong with their food. Yet month after month, year after year, the same complaints keep appearing. Customers keep getting sick. Food keeps being served that doesn't meet basic quality standards. The pattern repeats because there's no real incentive for these chains to change. Think about it from their perspective. They're making money selling subpar wings to customers who often don't complain directly to the restaurant. Most dissatisfied customers just don't come back, but they don't necessarily tell the restaurant why. The chains can continue operating with minimal consequences while a steady stream of new customers tries their food for the. This system works for the restaurants, but it's a disaster for customers. You become an unwitting participant in an experiment where you're the test subject and your health is what's being risked. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, trust your instinct. If wings look, smell, or taste wrong, don't eat them. It's not worth the risk of food poisoning just to avoid wasting a few dollars. Second, pay attention to restaurant cleanliness and staff behavior. If the restaurant looks dirty or staff seem careless about food handling, that's a red flag. Third, consider seeking out local restaurants or smaller chains that focus specifically on wings. These businesses often have more at stake when it comes to reputation and food quality. They can't rely on national marketing campaigns to overcome bad food. They have to earn customers through consistent quality. But most importantly, remember that your health is more valuable than convenience or brand loyalty. These 8 chains have demonstrated through years of customer complaints and documented incidents that they can't be trusted to consistently serve safe, quality food. Your next wing order doesn't have to come from one of these places, and frankly, it shouldn't. The choice is yours, but now you have the information you need to make an informed decision. The question is, are you willing to risk your health for the convenience of ordering from chains that have repeatedly let customers down? Or will you take the extra step to find restaurants that actually care about the food they serve?